Hey guys, so in today's video, I wanted to give you a beginner-friendly guide to SEO for your house cleaning business. So we run SEO campaigns for cleaning companies all around the world, so we've got a fair amount of experience about what works and what doesn't work. I'll leave a link in the description for you who are interested in finding out more, but really SEO is a pretty complicated beast. It can be difficult to know exactly where to start. And this is what I wanted to cover off in today's video. I wanted to give you the top 7 areas that I would focus on if I was starting with SEO again. So let's jump straight into it. So step 1 is to really understand what SEO is. So SEO stands for search engine optimization. Google marketing, whether it's SEO or Google Ads, is essentially a keyword tool. So if you are a house cleaning business in Dallas and someone types in house cleaners in Dallas and your company appears at the top of the page, that would be an example of good SEO. So obviously in the Dallas area, there are lots and lots of cleaning companies. And what Google is trying to do is they're trying to rank the company from the most relevant to the least relevant. And what SEO is essentially us trying to signal to Google that our company is the most relevant for that type of search, and therefore it warrants being at the top of page 1. So step 2 is to really identify your local keywords. So as I said, house cleaning Dallas would be a great keyword to be at the top of page 1 on Google for. But as we know, there will be lots of cleaning related searches happening in your area every day. So great searches for us would be house cleaners Dallas, maid service near me. A high proportion of those people will be in the market for what we do. But then there'll be other less relevant cleaning related searches. How much do cleaners get paid for jobs? That's someone probably looking to apply for a cleaning company. Or how do I clean a bathtub? That's someone wanting to do it themselves. So those are cleaning related searches, but we would be less interested in ranking for those terms because we know that there's a far lower likelihood of someone being interested in what we do for those searches versus a house cleaners Dallas, a maid service near me. So with our SEO, we need to identify the keywords that we want to target. And broadly, these appear in 2 categories. So the first category is what I call the service keywords, and then the second category is what I call the service plus location keywords. So with the service keywords, these would be all the variants of house cleaning that you would expect. So house cleaning companies, residential cleaners, housekeepers, maid service, all those different variants would be what I would term as your service keywords. The service plus location keywords would be where a location would be included. So it could be house cleaners in Dallas, or it could be maid service near me, or it could be cleaning companies in whichever zip code, for example. So the location is included in the keyword itself. So really when we are setting up our SEO to begin with, we need to figure out what are the top service keywords, what are the top service plus location keywords, and then once we know what the keywords are most important for us, we can then go about working on our SEO strategy, working on our website, working on our offsite SEO to really start moving our rankings up for those particular keywords. So if you guys are finding the content helpful so far, please like and subscribe. It really helps me to understand what's helpful for you, and I'll just continue to make similar videos in the future. So let's jump into step 3. So step 3 is then to optimize your homepage. So your homepage is the most important part of your website, and Google knows this as well. Google knows that, rather than some particular web page buried in the footer of your website, actually it's the homepage that is the most important. So really your homepage should come up with the most important, your main offering, your main service offering, and the locations that you want to go after. And this is something that I see very commonly people miss, is that, they may be a house cleaning business, but often they will miss out which particular area, location that they cover. So we need to make sure that the website, the homepage, is optimized for SEO. And really, for me, a service keyword plus the primary location. So for example, a house cleaning business in Dallas, we want to make sure that homepage talks about house cleaning in Dallas, it talks about residential cleaning, we include lots of the different variants of house cleanings and maid service. And it's important that when we are building out the copy, the text on our homepage, that it's not spammy. It needs to be reading naturally. We need to make sure, however, that we talk about house cleaning and maid service regularly and all the different variants. It needs to be natural. And that should be relatively simple to do. But also what we need to make sure is that we also put a focus on the Dallas keyword, the Dallas location keyword as well, because if someone pulls out their phone in Dallas and Google sees that, our particular cleaning company, yes, we do cleaning, we do house cleaning, but it's not 100% sure which locations that we cover, we won't get ranked, higher than another cleaning company with exactly the same thing, but that talks about Dallas. That Dallas specific cleaning company will rank higher than us. So we need to make sure that on our homepage, we get our primary keyword and our primary location. And once we've got those two, we can start to make sure that the titles on the page include those particular keywords and locations. We need to make sure all our images are tagged in that right way. Ideally we want to include some testimonials of people in these locations, some embedded Google Maps of the locations that we cover. These are all indications to Google that this is our particular location targeting, and it will help rank us up for those service plus location keywords. So step 4 is then to set up your Google business profile. So, if we go to Google and type in house cleaning Dallas, you'll see, you've got your ads at the top of the page, and then in the middle of the page, you have this maps section. And this is really where your Google business profile, comes up. As you can well imagine, there are lots and lots of cleaning companies in Dallas. So when you look at that map section, usually what you see is 3 or 4 cleaning companies listed there. You'll see their name, their reviews, the address, ratings and things like that. And with our SEO, we want to try and get ranked to be one of those 3 cleaning companies. If you're number 4 or number 5, people don't tend to scroll on to the next pages. So it's all about getting in that map pack, those top 3 positions. And the way that we get ranked in there is that we need to make sure that we have a Google business profile in the first place. And this is essentially Google's social profile. Many of you will already have this set up, but essentially what Google does with this profile is that, you need to apply for a profile, you get a verification sent to your address, you need to verify the account. But what is important is once you do that, you then need to sort of, fill out that profile, add lots of photos, add videos, make sure your descriptions are filled out. Talk about the services you offer. So, if you're a house cleaning company, maybe you talk about move out cleaning or post-construction cleaning or recurring cleaning. You really want to max this out. Again, we don't want to keyword stuff the profile. We want to make it sound natural, but we want to, if there's a field about which services that we offer, we want to make sure that that is filled out. We want to talk about our locations and the neighborhoods and the specific towns in our location as well. So set up your Google business profile and then get to work to fill it out. The other thing that you want to be thinking about is once the profile is up and running, there are 2 main things that we need to be doing on an ongoing basis. So the ratings and reviews are a critical part about getting ranked within these top 3 maps positions. So you want to make it just part of your process that after every single cleaning that happens, you send that client a link to your Google review, get them to leave a review. Google looks at the volume of ratings, it looks at the recency of the ratings, and it also looks at the average rating as well. So, if you've got an average of 4.0 out of 5, you've got some work to do to try and bump up the quality. If you only had 1 rating in the last 6 months, you need to be on top of your clients to try and get more ratings. Maybe as well as sending them an email link, maybe you need to send them a link by SMS. You need to get more reviews and more recent reviews as well. So your Google business profile is a really important thing that you need to get optimized, get those ratings and reviews coming in. And also you want to be posting, I would say weekly. You can post things like, you could say, this particular cleaner at your company has won the Cleaner of the Week award. Or, you can talk about why now is a great time to get a deep cleaning for your property. Maybe we're coming up to holiday season and people are visiting friends and family. So a deep clean would make sense to get your home looking really nice before everyone arrives. Maybe another post talks about a coupon code that you're running, a holiday code that you're running. So you want to be posting every week. And again, this is just an indicator to Google that your business is live and ready to take on customers. It's new and fresh content that, as we know, Google really likes. So that is another ongoing thing that you want to be adding to your profile. Add new photos, add new videos on as well. This is a very easy thing to do that many cleaning business owners out there just completely forget to do. So then page 5 is then to start building out your website, and this is creating your location pages specifically. So what I mean by this is that, wherever you are in the country, you will probably have a main city, a main town that you're targeting. Maybe that's where you live, or maybe that's where all your clients live. But within each main city location, there will probably be, smaller towns, there'll be smaller neighborhoods. And when we talk about building out the location pages on the website, it's really creating a specific page for each of these locations. So, for the example of Dallas in Texas, there'll be lots of little towns and smaller cities within that area. So what we want to try to do is that, if we say our homepage talks about house cleaning in Dallas, that's the primary focus of that web page. We want to create separate location, what I call sub-location pages on our website. So it could be abccleaners.com. Let's say that's your main web domain, and then it could be / house cleaners, some specific location, say sublocation 1, and then another page could be / house cleaning sublocation 2. And on each of those pages we talk about house cleaning, but instead of talking about Dallas, we would talk about that specific town within Dallas, or specific neighborhood within Dallas. And the reason why this is a really great strategy is that, although most people, the highest volume keywords will be for people searching for house cleaners Dallas, there will be other people who are typing in that house cleaners plus a specific neighborhood within Dallas. It's a much smaller volume, but because it's a smaller volume, it'll also be much less competitive as well. You find that there are fewer cleaning companies targeting that keyword. So often this is a really great way to get started, because you can start to get ranked higher up on the page for these sub-locations, these smaller volume locations, rather than your primary keyword that will tend to be much more competitive. But the strategy with this is that if you build out these location pages and start to get ranked for these pages, these will start to feed into your main primary keyword. Because if Google can see that you're starting to get ranked for all these locations within your main service area, this will feed into your main service area, and this will start to help. And it will be a signal to Google that actually, yes, we service Dallas, we service all these other locations that we're already getting ranked for. Now that's a very clear indicator for Google that actually we should be getting ranked for these Dallas, these main location keywords as well. So build out those location keywords, those location pages, and there can be a bit of repetition here. Don't simply copy and paste what you have on your homepage and paste it into all the locations and just swap out the locations. Google will give you a penalty for that. We need to make sure that every new page is being uniquely written. Google doesn't like something that they call duplicate content, similar content. So, although the service itself, house cleaning, will be probably the same in Dallas as it is to all these other locations, try and write it as if you were writing it from scratch. Google like to see different content for all these pages. And, if you're going about it in this way, you will start to get those rankings for these sub-location pages as well. So then step 6 is to add trust elements to your website. And this is where we start going into something called on-site SEO. This is where we are trying to create a really great user experience for people that come to our website. So an example of a bad user experience would be someone that lands on your website and then 1 second later clicks off. Google looks at some key engagement metrics like time on site. It looks at the bounce rate and what percentage of people who land in your site immediately exit. So if you have a website that is a great website, really talks about what you do, includes reviews, maybe there's videos from clients, maybe there's interviews about your cleaners and why their cleaning service is much better than other cleaning companies. If there's lots of great content on there, people landing on your site are probably going to spend a lot of time scrolling through, maybe jumping from to other pages to find out a bit more. And this is all a signal to Google that your page or your website is really resonating with that search. So if someone typed in house cleaning Dallas, comes to your page and spends 3 minutes on your page and then fills in a contact form, these are all great indicators to Google that your cleaning company, your website, is really resonating, a great result for that person searching. So they will likely put your company in front of similar searches. They'll probably boost up your rankings. So we need to use things like trust elements to really engage with these people jumping in your website. And this will really help with your engagement, time on site, and ultimately help to boost your on-site SEO as well. So then 7 is then to keep blogging simple. So, even relatively recently, people would spend an awful lot of time thinking about blogging and content is king and Google loves fresh content. And often most people would be very basically creating a blog every week. How do I clean a toilet, or some other really boring content that people don't really care about, aren't really interested in, and they would just be copy pasting that similar type of content that you see across all the other cleaning companies every week, and hoping that would help with your SEO. So that is obviously not the way to do it, but having fresh content on your site is really important. As well as building out these location pages on a regular basis, we also want to use our blog to create new and engaging content, again on a weekly basis. But rather than say a how do I clean my toilet blog, which probably no one is interested in for people that are wanting to hire a cleaning company, try to create content where there is interest. So one of our very popular, very well viewed pieces of content talked about, what are the typical cleaning rates? What are cleaning companies charging in your area? So if you're a house cleaning business in Dallas, you might talk about what the franchise charge. What do independent cleaners charge? What do independent contractors charge? And this sort of informative content piece is a great way of creating fresh content for your blog, because someone who's reading that is probably really interested on, what are the pros and cons for each option? What are the prices? What are the, expectations of each of these options? And again, what Google will see is that if someone finds that particular page in your website really interesting, it shows a high engagement score to Google. Google will probably say, okay, this is a great page. This company is probably a high quality business. Let's show that particular page to more people, because, for example, if you are based in Dallas, one of the things that you might type in would be, typical cleaning company prices. And, you might find that your particular blog page that talks about all of those and compares all the different options gets ranked really high up the page. So by creating content in this way, you are creating something that is helpful. You need to think, what would be helpful for a potential customer, and use your blog content every week to come up with those ideas. You can go to ChatGPT for these content ideas. So you want to be posting regularly with your blog, and this will be again an indicator. You want to use it as a way to be genuinely helpful for your potential clients. Don't create blog content just for the sake of it. Don't just copy paste what everyone else is doing. Try to become more creative. Use ChatGPT to come up with some ideas, and put yourself in the shoes of a potential client. What would be helpful for you? If you wanted to book a cleaning company and you hadn't already done that. And that should be a good indicator for the types of things that you want to be doing. So I hope this video has been helpful. As I said, SEO isn't an overnight phenomenon. If you do these things, it will take a bit of time, but if you go through these 7 key steps, it will get you on the right road to your SEO. In this next video, I'm going to go take you through one of the case study clients that, of the clients that we work with. We've managed to get really great results for this client, and I'll just go into a bit more depth about the types of strategies that we use to get your SEO, get your cleaning company ranked at the top of the page. So I'll see you on the next one.